we went out to Hollywood hotspot, Pace, delicious food.
Oh, the Italian place. Yeah.
Delicious food. Yeah, it's really, as a matter of fact, you recommended it.
You know what I like about it? The food's great, but there's always like movie stars there.
They're real, yeah. And last night was no exception. Wow, really, maybe top 5 most beautiful women in show business.
Your wife,
Rachel McAdams.
Oh, okay.
Rachel McAdams.
Oh, she's great.
And there were models as far as the eye could see. I mean, apparently there was no limit on the number of foxes that were allowed to run free in Pace last night. So it was quite a scene.
But I would argue though that the crowd probably did not part as well as they did when you came into the room. Podcast power player.
Yeah. Yeah, is that the guy from the Tiger Woods video? Yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we went there.
He's got a lot of nerve.
And once again, I don't know what it is. If it's the chemistry, if we separated these people, if they would all behave this way. But when they get brought together for some reason,
your parents and your in-laws.
Yes,
okay.
it's bad news. Mm-hmm. First of all, we get to the restaurant. My parents and I, we show up, and my wife's parents are already there. We say to the maitre d', all right, here we are. And they say, oh, your party is already waiting at the table. Now, this is a happening joint. There are a lot of, there's a great energy in the room. Like you say, the beautiful people are out, show business on display. And it's cool, It's for my visiting parents, Pittsburgh, PA, It's a neat thing to see relative. Look at that. We're eating with Rachel McAdams. Ooh, who's that guy she's with?
Right,
and so on. And we are escorted to our table all the way through this happening room into this back little hole. And as I walk in there,
I hate that room. Yeah,
they're her parents. And I say, well, why are they burying us? Are we that unattractive that they're hiding us from the rest of the hip crowd? And the mother says, the stepmother says, oh, well, we thought it was too loud in that other room. We thought this would be better to be in the quiet. Offense number 1 by her.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty bad.
Then we say,
especially at a place like this. You're absolutely right, Pace.
So
this ain't Hamburger Hamlet.
Right. So we've got to be seated. I say, listen, my mother really wants to, well, can't we sit out there? So we go back out, we talk to the maitre d', fine, they're going to set us up with a better table. So they do that. Now, of course, it's, half the people at the table are going to have to face the wall, and the other half are going to face out. My mother, it being her birthday, Mo Damashek, she sits facing out. She says, wow, I can't believe, some of these people we're seeing. Look at all these people. Oh, it's such a beautiful crowd. This is what the beautiful people look like. This is what it looks like when people talk about Los Angeles and so on. And my father grumbles to her, he's raw that he's not able to see the beautiful people. It's not your birthday, old man. Offense number 2.
Can I ask a question though? Not to interrupt, but who's paying for the meal? Who's decided to pay for the meal that night?
Damashek. I made it clear.
I was going to say, if your father was picking up the check, then I see, let him sit where he wants to sit because he's getting the check, because I'm sure the check is going to be very expensive. But if you're getting it, no.
Yeah, no,
Pipe down.
No, I make it clear.
Eat your gnocchi and shut up.
Listen, I've got bottle, ordering up the wines and, filling the table with appetizers and so on. It's clear I'm getting the tab on this one. And so now the old man, he doesn't like having to face. And then, by the way, as my mother is going through the menu, he's encouraging her to order what he wants to try. I said, it's her birthday. For once, can you? That's his move. His move is, what are you going to get? So, and he pushes her in a certain direction.
But what is that? Not to play devil's advocate, but what is that your business? What do you care if they order?
It's an outrage.
That's not your business. They've been together for years and years and years. That's how they are.
It's
that
outrageous.
Makes them happy.
Then the wine shows up at the table. Now again, I'm getting the tab. I've brought my mother out for a nice dinner in Hollywood. It's a nice time. And by the way, her parents showed up unexpectedly. They were supposed to arrive today, but instead they jumped an earlier flight and got in yesterday.
That's the worst.
So now my mother's birthday dinner now includes these 2 people that we didn't bank on, so we had to get the extra table. Now these people, I left that out at the beginning. When they got to the restaurant, they weren't supposed to be there at all.
Right.
But when they get to the restaurant, they take it upon themselves, the stepmother does, to say, yeah, we don't like where you guys wanted to sit. We're going to sit you in the back room because we don't like all that noise.
Odd.
Isn't that awful?
Rude.
The arrogance, the self-centeredness.
And you married into that family.
Listen, so then the wine shows up. Again, these are people who are now a part of a dinner who 8 hours ago weren't going to be there. They weren't going to be on this coast, let alone sitting in the restaurant with us celebrating my mother's birthday. and the wine shows up. The waiter pours a glass for everybody. And as I go to the glass to make a toast to my mother as she grows ever closer to the sweet release of death, there are only going to be so many more of these. I go for my glass to make my toast, and her father grabs his glass and says, "Hey, happy birthday to Mo," and he makes the toast. He's the hero. I'm getting the tab. You weren't even supposed to be here.
Again, I think that's wrong that he did. But yet, shouldn't your father be making the toast to his lovely bride that they've been together for 40 years?
Fair enough.
That's his role. I don't know why you're offended. Your father should be offended.
And then, so now let's add a new one. Mo Damashek, both times, not last year or this year, did she commit any real awful offense. But I think I just listed the stepmother requesting a different table at a dinner that she wasn't, invited to, really. My father complaining about him not getting to look out, when, by the way, he wouldn't know who they are anyway. He's one of those people. Who's there? Who's there? Loudly. Who is that? It's Rachel McAdams. Who's that? I don't know who she is. What's she been in? Loudly.
Is that Rock Hudson?
Has no ability to modulate his voice.
That Tab Hunter?
And then and then her father making toasts with the wine that I just had delivered. Now, a bottle of wine, 6 people split 6 ways. Everybody has a glass. There's not a drip left in the bottle once the waiter's poured it out, and no one has a full glass of wine. We're out to dinner. This is a celebration. I wanted to have a few wines. It's a weekend. Shame the devil that I have a few. Right?
It's about you, of course. Yeah.
That's not about me, you creep. I'm celebrating a birthday. That's all. So now I say, well, you know what? I should have ordered a second bottle of wine with that first one, but I guess I'll get that one when the waiter comes back. And my mother says, "Oh, I'm only going to have one glass." And my wife says, "You can have mine if you want. I'm really not in the mood to drink much." And I said, "Well, listen, we still have, her father, and people drink some wine." And my wife says, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Well, you can drive home if I have a couple more wines. If you're not driving, if you're not drinking, then you can drive us home." "But why would you need that? Why do you want another bottle of wine? I mean, what's the point of that? We're out here for a celebration." "Yeah, that's just a celebration. I'm having a couple of wines. I enjoy wine." So now she's on the list too.
Trouble in paradise.
Can you imagine?
That's pretty bad.
From all sides, I'm getting.
Now wait, and they're all staying at your house?
No, her parents are not staying.
Oh, thank God. What can I ask an intimate question? Do you mind?
Isn't that outrageous?
I think it's outrageous, but I want to ask a personal question about you and Cindy. And it goes back to my situation with my folks. When you're there, when their parents or you guys are staying at the house, do you guys make love? Do you make love? Do you make love with the parents in the house or no?
I don't think that's happened in a year and a half or two. I mean, well, how old's the boy now? Whatever that's been was our last time.
So it's like your roommates. You're not man and wife. Isn't that weird? It's your house. Can't you do what you want to do?
Well, we do. We do it with a purpose.
Quiet.
No, it's with a purpose. It's time to make a baby.
Oh,
there we go.
Is that going to happen again?
Now we just made a baby.
You'll have number 3.
I think we're going to hold. We like our spot there. So
can I just throw out a name? Dave Feeney Damashek.
All right. Well, maybe the two of you could get together.
Jacuzzi Pete Damashek.
Yeah, raise it as my own. All right. But the point is, I hope you don't get to that in the future with Jennifer and her family
making love in the house when they're there. Oh, I mean at the restaurant.
Well, you're not. That's not going to be a problem because you're not even in the same. You're not on the same floor. I don't think there's any way that any love making is going to be done.
No, with all the respect for your restaurant story, which was very funny but long. It's like, all right, so fine. I mean, all right, so it's her birthday, so your father's that way. You love him anyway. Big deal. I mean, none of this stuff is news to you. The thing with the in-laws, though, that's a direct slap in the face. You in that restaurant specifically, you don't go to the back room out of the way. You want to be seen.
We thought it would be a good idea to sit in the back. I thought I'd make a toast to this person. And by the way, it's interesting. When my father had a birthday 2 or 3 years ago, we went to another restaurant, another thing to celebrate a birthday. This time we were with my wife's mother. She was with us. She did the exact same thing. Now my wife's parents have split, but apparently it's in there. That they still have that in common, which is trumping Damashek at a family dinner. Because just like that, I'm getting the dinner that night. The mother grabs the glass and says, "I'd like to make a toast." And she makes the birthday toast to my father.
Who toasts anymore?
Well, if you have something to say, if you have something poignant, if you have an amusing yarn to share, something like that, if you're going to be Peter Falk in The In-Laws making the toast to Arkin, something like that, that's going to be touching. But no, I just want to raise a glass to this person who I casually know.
Before we get on to Tim, which we need to get to, do your toast right now to your mom. What toast? The toast you were going to give last night. Do it now.
I guess I'm going to have to save it for 364 days.
No. Do it now.
No, I'll do it later.
She's not listening.
All right, so we're giving out
to Mo. Is that your toast? To Mo.
We're gonna give out dating tips, and we're gonna try to help out your pal Tim. Should we just yap?
Let's
with
get
Tim
him on the
here?
line. What line is he on, darling? Line 4.
How do we get that to work?
First, we need the cans. We need this now. Is that what they're called, David? The cans?
I don't know. Listen, let's just put them on and figure out how we open up the line here. Here comes Jacuzzi Pete. Maybe we should hear the latest Dick Banks theme song for Jacuzzi Pete since he's coming in here. Oh, here it is.
Jacuzzi Pete, it's scared to death of his wife. Jacuzzi Pete, you can tell hates his life. Jacuzzi Pete lives for only one thing, Bubba.
I like that one too.
So pleased with yourself.
Why?
Because you wrote that one and you're laughing at your own bit.
Oh, I never heard it before.
Terrific.
Wink. Ready? Tim, you're on the air. Hello.
Tim!
Hi, fellas.
Bats, what's going on, buddy?
There he is. Can we hear him a little bit better?
I can hear you.
There we go. Tim, how are you?
I'm doing great, David. How are you, my man?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Tim, of course, Feeney's longtime friend, lifetime friends, right?
My closest friend.
About 30 years now.
30 years.
30 years. Tim, you grew up in Rhode Island. Somehow, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but grew up somehow, even though in Big East country in Rhode Island, New England, grew up a fan of all things Pittsburgh, PA, right?
That is correct.
It's because they were world champs when he came of age of sports. In '79, when he first started liking sports, the Pirates were world champs, the Steelers were world champs. That's why.
Yeah, it sounds like he had a little bit of soul, though. He could have.
You have an excuse.
He could have rooted for the Yankees and the Cowboys and teams like that.
No, he did that too. See, though, he was a Yankees fan as well and a Sixers fan.
Is that true, Tim?
That's not true.
No, what are you talking about? You were never a Yankees fan?
I had a brief flirtation with, the Don Mattingleys and David Gettys of the world, but that was short-lived. I realized the error of my ways during the 1987 campaign.
What kind of contrarian are you growing up in New England, in Boston Red Sox country, to be a Yankees fan?
That's a great point, David. I think he did it for a reason. He did it on purpose, just to be different. Is that right, Bats?
That's entirely part of it, no doubt.
Well, of course that's true. Cousin Sal is another one of those. Grew up in New York and is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. Didn't go for the Giants or Jets, went for the Dallas Cowboys. That's someone who's looking to be different.
Never
right?
met him, not a fan. Hey, Bats, Tim met Jennifer as well when I brought her home.
Well, I just want to tell Tim quickly. No one else will care, but it's my podcast, so I do as I please.
Oh.
Guess who I just ran into in Southern California the other day? Coach Jamie Dixon.
No kidding.
That's right. I told him, great season again, Coach Dixon. Thanks a lot for what you're doing for the city of Pittsburgh. He said, thank you, sir.
Job.
And I let him go on his way. Handsome devil, too.
Tim, don't you miss Paul Evans, buddy?
Paul Evans was a great coach, a very underrated coach, now selling real estate according to my sources in the state of Maryland. So
I like the my sources
He
part.
hired a PI to track him down, just in case Coach Dixon leaves.
I like real estate, and take notes, David. You'll be doing that someday.
I've done it, and I'm sure I'm going to be going back to my first love.
So Tim met Jennifer. They got along great, right, Bats? You liked her?
wow, lovely girl.
Yeah.
A very sweetheart, absolutely.
No one cares if she's a sweetheart. Give her a letter grade looks-wise. Actually, give her on a scale of 1 to 10.
David, my looks, my grading system is very alternative and absolutely left of center. In my eyes, she's a strong 7 to 8.
Oh,
7 or 8.
that's a C. That's a B minus.
See, again, fellas, a 7 grade in my grade book is a tremendous, tremendous score.
Can we get someone who we know, everybody knows? So, like, Tim, where would you put Angelina Jolie?
Angelina Jolie is probably 6 or 7.
A 6 or 7.
Wow.
Where would you put someone like...
What about Rachel McAdams?
Rachel McAdams is a solid 8.
A solid 8.
She's an 8.
So
she's
you would
ahead
say
of
Jennifer is kind of like a Rachel McAdams, kind of like a poor man Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
So you swoon for her, is what you're saying.
Well, swooning, that's a 1950s term. Let's kind of...
Well, David was born then, so it makes sense.